All right, good evening, everyone. Well, welcome to tonight's class, the Victor Adeshokon Leadership Initiative. So, this evening, without much ado, what we shall be discussing is leading with purpose. Leading with purpose. And I would like you to give rapt attention to this message in the few minutes we'll be discussing this topic. All right, we have always heard people say, or leadership coaches say, everyone is a potential leader. And I mentioned that also in my last class, the last message we had. As a leading with purpose, everyone is a potential leader. That means there is no one who does not have the potential to lead or to become a leader. But it now depends on your perspective to leadership and your ability to develop your leadership abilities. Now, it has also been argued that there is no born leader. We only have leaders who are made, leaders who are produced. But whichever one you are believing, the most important thing here is that you have the ability to lead. You have the capacity within you to lead. Now, we must first talk about leadership before we move on into leading with purpose. Of course, leadership and purposeful leadership goes hand in hand. If you want to lead and you want to lead well indeed, then your leading must be purposeful. It must come with purpose. It must come with vision. If it doesn't come with purpose and vision, then it might be difficult for you to achieve the goals because you can't separate achievement of goals from leadership. You can't. So, what is leadership? Leadership is the process of influencing, guiding, and inspiring others to achieve a common goal or vision. I said it earlier that you can't separate goals from leadership. So, what is important for a leader is that he sees the way, he shows the way, then he goes the way. A leader is different from a manager, yeah, or a director. What a leader does is that a leader knows the way. This is the way. So what does he do? He follows that same way. He goes the way. Then he shows people the way. That's what a leader does. So leadership is by influence. Leadership is by doing. You want to lead and you don't want to do, you don't want to act, then you aren't ready for leadership. Yeah, you are not ready, you are not ready to lead. You want to influence people, it is not through force. That's one of the things the military don't get. You want to influence people. Oftentimes, it's not through force. Of course, you can compel obedience by force, but you can only influence in leadership. As a good leader, you can't use force to compel obedience. You compel obedience through influence. And oftentimes, some people will tell you, well, I'm not a leader, I'm not the head, I'm not the one that is called to do the job. I am just one of the many people or one of the many workers, especially in organizations. No, that's not how it works. That part of the scripture, to whom much is given, much is expected. So, if you have been given talents, abilities, skills, you are expected to express it to its fullness. Use it to fullness. Use it to fullness. So you have abilities in you, and that is to every individual, that is to everyone. So leadership means influencing, guiding, inspiring others to achieve a common goal. That part must not be missing to achieve a common goal. So the interest of a leader is that every one of us, we are working towards one goal, to achieving one thing, a common goal, a common interest, a common vision. If we don't have that, then leadership is not effective. That leader or that process of leading or leadership will not be effective. So for it to be effective, for us to be sure that we are leading, then we must be able to achieve a common goal, common interest, common vision. So one of the things leaders does is they set guidelines, they set principles, they put it in place, and they work by it themselves before the next person. It begins with you. So whatever you want to see, especially if you are leading an organization or a group of persons, whatever you want to see in people, whatever you want to see people do, it is you who should do it first. It berates me how we have leaders who are not compassionate about their job, who are not empathic. They don't have empathy. They don't have empathy. And when issues happens, they just bluff it off. They talk anyhow. They can't relate with it. Those kind of leaders, they can't, or individuals, they can't lead effectively. They can't be an effective leader. So, what are the key qualities of a leader? Key qualities of a leader. When you see a person, how do you identify that this person is an effective leader, or this boy will be an effective leader? Through these things I can see. So, the key qualities of a leader: number one, vision. Vision is one of the most important ingredients for a leader. Very, very, very important. It is always hard for people to work with other people's vision. It's always difficult. But oftentimes, if you are part of a body, whosoever the leader is must be able to communicate his or her vision properly, effectively, and constantly to his or her subordinates, to the followers. That was what Jesus did. Let's take the Jesus' example. That was what Jesus did. Jesus continued consistently telling his disciples what he was here to do. He told them about how that a house will be prepared for them. That was in John. And I will go to my Father and prepare a place for you, so that wherever I am, there you will be. That's leadership. So Jesus was going there first before the disciples will then follow. So the principles he had to lay right there on earth, the first person who followed the principles was himself before his disciples. The things the disciples saw him do, that was the same thing they did: casting out demons, healing the sick, raising the dead, feeding the poor, helping the needy, comforting the widows and the fatherless, the orphans. That was what Jesus did. That was the same thing the disciples saw Jesus doing while he was on earth, and they took after him. So they took over the ministry. So that was leadership, pure leadership. Jesus gave us a template. So there must be a vision. What was Jesus' vision? To die for the sin of the world, of sinners, and to deliver us from our sins, bringing redemption to mankind. That was his vision. And he achieved it. So Jesus is a perfect example of a leader with purpose. We have several other biblical examples, and we have several other examples right here in this our world. All right. Now, vision, having a clear direction, all right, and purpose. That's it. Vision is having a clear direction and purpose. You must know where you are headed. Where are you going? Where? In the next 10 years, what did you write today that in the next 10 years will account it to you that 10 years ago you wrote this and that is what you achieved? So you must have vision, and you must be able to work with your vision. But first off, when people write down their vision, even in Habakkuk, it says, write down the vision that he may run that sees it. Now, it's not to run away, it's to run with it, to carry it. If you don't understand something, you can't run with it. So it's a vision you understood that you'll be able to run with. That is the idea. so that he may run that sees it. Run there means to walk with it, to carry it. But first, there is a place of understanding. If you don't understand the vision, you can't run with it. If you are in an organization and the vision is not properly communicated to you consistently, times and times again, you cannot work with it. There will be problem in such situation, because the leaders in that case and the led will be at loggerheads at different times. So you need to understand that you are leading a group of people. You must have vision. Your vision gives you a clear cut direction, and it gives you purpose. So there is purpose in leadership, and there is clear direction in leadership. All right, so the second one is communication. Communication. Not everybody really finds communication amusing. Now, when we say communication, I'm not saying talking. Excuse me. I'm not saying just talking. By communication, it means being able to pass or pour out your heart, your vision into people. For instance, God is giving you a vision. Okay, you want to start a business, and you started. It's a business worth 500 million naira. You started a business and it was growing. But of course, you want to build a business that will outlive you. What do? Before time, let's say you have 70 years to spend on earth. You started the business at 40. So that means you have 30 years more. What you should do the first day you launch that business, then you need to begin to groom people who would manage with you, who would lead with you. That's what most organizations do, for those who know what they are doing. So they groom people that they could trust, that they believe in, that they have trained and they have taught the principles of the business. Then they groom them along the line. So that means if the man or the owner of that business or that leader would be retiring at, let's say, 65, he has 70 years to live, 65, it means from 40-year old that he started the business and started leading the people, for the remaining years he must be able to teach those he wants to take over from him, from that 40 year until 65 year. That's about 25 years. So you are training one person or two people or three people or a group of persons for 25 years. The principles you learned that built this business. That's what you are meant to do. So that business will outlive the owner of the business. That reminds me of a pastor of a church in Nigeria, well, one of my mentors. And for about 2 years, funnily, initially, I was not even aware he was not in the country anymore. For about 2 years, he was not in the country. He was not in the country. He left the country for a reason God gave him. God said, test if what you have built can stand time. Okay, he said, no problem, I will. And he left Nigeria. He was in the UK, in the US for 2 good years. And sincerely, believe you me, the church was running effectively every day for 2 years. For 2 years, that people outsiders never knew pastor traveled. If you are not an insider, you cannot know he traveled. It was after 2 years he came back and he made the announcement. Some people were like, wow. So Baba traveled. So Baba traveled. Yes, Baba traveled. Now, his test, he passed it because he had built leaders. He had systems in place, and the systems are working. The systems are working. So, as a leader, you must be able to communicate your vision properly. Ability to let me read what I have here. It said ability to circulate ideas and inspire people. Your ideas, your vision, you're able to circulate it and people know it and they could work with it. Yes, you're a good communicator. It's not about talking, it's about pouring your heart to people. All right, number three is empathy. Empathy. I mentioned that earlier while I was giving an introduction to leadership itself. Now, empathy is understanding and relating with the needs of others. Understanding and relating with the needs of others. If you don't have empathy, you can't be a good leader. Because when your followers come, they have a complaint, they tell you this, they tell you that, you might just bluff it all like, you guys should just go. I don't have time. Whereas what they are telling you is very important to them. It might not be to you, but to them it is. It's their life. So they needed you to attend to it. But you are not empathic. You can't put yourself in their shoes. Imagine somebody lost his or her spouse and they came to you and you were informed and there was no sympathy, not to talk of empathy. You just felt, well, God gives and God taketh. May his soul rest in peace. Come on, that's too sharp, that's too hard. You should be able to bring yourself down. Like, okay, imagine I lost someone. How will I feel? That's empathy. You can't feel what people feel. You can't feel people's pain. That's the truth. But empathy will make you feel something close to what people feel when they are in pain. Imagine I lost someone. How will I feel? Will I be happy? No. So that's the same way you need to relate with people. So you must show empathy, understanding and relating with others, understanding people's feelings, people's emotions. Number four is decision making. As a leader, you must be able to make decisive decisions per time. Decisive decisions per time. And by making decisive decisions per time, it will give direction to the people you are leading, to those who are following you, the ones you are influencing. If you can't make the right decisions per time, then you'll be putting your organizations in chaos. So you must be able to see ahead. Yeah, foresight, insight. Yeah, you must have foresight to see ahead and be able to make decisive decision. And that by that, when you are making informed decisions, it will help your organizations to grow and you yourself to be on top of your game. Then there must be room for adaptability. Room for adaptability. That means you must be adaptable, flexible, and ability to adjust. Yeah, adaptability, adapting to situations quickly without missing or wasting time. It happens to some organizations, they were not ready to adapt to the current system. Go and ask BlackBerry and Androids. That's what happened. Ask BlackBerry. Why is BlackBerry no more in use? They are not ready to adapt. So they lost their magic. And today we're not hearing about it anymore. It crashed, it collapsed. So there is room for adaptability. 15 years ago, the things and the trends that happened is not what we have now. Yes, you can imagine for us to remain on the same idea for 15 years, the same idea. Of course, even though if it is working, there is still more. Come up with that. There is more. There is more. So we must be ready to lead with purpose, with our vision sharp and clear, and ready to make decisive decision. So we must be able to adapt, ability to be flexible and adjust to changing circumstances and situations. All right, so leading with purpose means guiding others with a clear sense of direction. You are guiding people with a clear sense of direction. But somebody who does not have clear sense, you can't have direction. Yeah, if you don't have a clear sense, you can't have direction. So first, there is clear sense, then direction. Some people have direction, but it's not clear. Some people have clear direction, but it's not sensible. Yeah, so you must have clear sense of direction if you would lead with purpose. Now, what does it involve? It involves clear vision, authenticity, value driven. It must be value driven. As a leader, you must be ready to create value. People will find you. Be in the hole, they will look for you. Then you must be ready to inspire others. You must be ready to inspire others. What are the benefits of leading with purpose? Number one, it brings about increased engagement, more interaction with people. Yeah, more clients will show up. Yes. Then two, improved decision making. I mentioned it earlier that it will help you to stay on top of your game. If you can make decisions, and at the end of the day, you see the result, positive result of your decisions that you made on situations, you'll be happy yourself. So it will elate, it will boost your spirit, All right. So then it builds stronger culture for that organization or for those individuals. It builds stronger culture. Every organization have their culture. They have the way they fashion things and they would want to stay with that. But of course, over time, trends will change, situation will change, circumstances will change. Then you must be able to be ready to adapt to it and improve your own culture too. All right. So the last part here is how can I influence people as a leader? How can I influence people as a leader? One of the ways to influence people as a leader, and one of the ways to even be a good leader, to be an effective leader, is to build relationships. To build relationship, building relationships. You must be ready to build good relationship, showing genuine interest in people, becoming approachable. There are some persons, people can't relate with them. People cannot approach them just because some are saucy, some don't have a sense of belonging, some don't have empathy. So they are not ready to listen to you. Whatever you want to say, just talk and get out. They do what they want to do and they move on with their lives. So they don't care about what you say or how you feel. They don't care. So we must be able, it's an ability actually, it's a skill. So you can learn it to build relationships and of course positive ones. Then also communicating effectively. You must be able to communicate effectively. Those are the benefits. Of course, we mentioned part of it earlier. Yeah. Then also you must be able to establish credibility, be reliable, let people trust you. Let people believe in you that this man, no, he can't do this. Oh, this one, we trust him, he will deliver. Exactly. Exactly. So you must build credibility for yourself and for your name. You might tell me that, oh, I don't have an organization, but you have a family. So lead them. That small space where they put you in church, you are leading, lead them. Yeah. You are a Bible study coordinator, you are a leader, lead them. So you can apply every of these principles, and people will want more of your services. They will want to see you more. They want to hear you more because they know when they come, you are a blessing to them because you have learned very well. You have learned the ability to lead. And you're not just leading, you're leading effectively, purposefully. All right. Then you must be able to influence people through examples. You must be able to influence people through examples. It is always called leadership by examples. The scripture recorded, it says, the things we see you do. Yes, the things we see you do. So whatever you do is what we are doing. Whatever we do, you do rather, is what we do. And that was the example and template Jesus gave us. So we can learn the best aspect and best part of leadership from Jesus Christ himself. There are leaders who they don't care. We have in Nigeria now. Nigeria is a very good example of leaders who don't care. They'll start a project. We have an example currently somewhere in Nigeria. They will start a project and leave it for 6, 3, 4, 2 years, and people are suffering. What they should do for the benefit of the people, but they will use it for their own interest to make campaigns, and godly people will still come vote for them. Yeah, that's what we do year in year out. Every 4 years, we give you small project. We launch your money for 4 years, for 8 years, 2 10 years, and we'll still come back, collect donuts, collect peanuts on the day of election, collect coke. Those guys are not leading us with purpose. Yeah, but we're not going to that aspect today. It's a long thing. So, as a leader, you must be ready to influence people through examples. We must all become good examples to people. Some comments are here and I feel happy. There are some I will hear, I feel like, what am I doing? Say, I'm not doing anything. Exactly. So that's the idea. I've heard a leader told me and a group of friends that you guys are not doing anything. What are you doing? People that are coming from outside are even doing better than you. I feel like, what? With all my sacrificing and everything, you say I'm not doing enough. Well, to that leader, I am not doing enough. What they want is not what they are seeing. So they expect me to do more. That's the idea. So if you feel you are not appreciated or wanted there, then you can just move. Exactly. Just move. Instead of that was one of the reasons I left an organization just because the vibe I was getting from the leader is not commiserating. I want something from you, and if I'm working against you, then I will be in problem at the end of the day. Whatever I will be getting from you is a cost. Yes, it's a cost. So We must be ready to lead by examples. When you lead by examples, you're only telling us, I am credible. So whatever I do, believe me, you can do the same thing and you can follow my path. You can follow my principles. And by that, you'll become better. So leading with purpose, you must be able to lead people, to guide people, to have a clear sense of direction, and to create values and meaning. How many people can come to you and say, wow, thank you for yesterday? Oh, thank you for 10 years ago. So you need to learn to do that. Help people on the way. Help people on the way. There is the great difference between leadership and managing. You might be a manager, but not a good leader. But if you're a good leader, forget it, you will manage well. And there are several things to manage. You can manage human resources, manage material resources, financial resources, and several other things you can manage. So be a good leader today. Learn to live with purpose. You have a family. If you don't own an organization today, you might own tomorrow. But right now you work somewhere, lead with purpose. Right now you have a family, lead with purpose. Right now you have children, lead with purpose. Right now you have parents, you can lead them. He never can say, never can tell. Lead with purpose. And that is the essence of this discussion tonight. All right, I want to say thank you because I'll be bringing this class to a close tonight. You can always follow me on my social media channels, but on social media, Facebook and TikTok and Instagram, you can just follow Sabi Teacher. We deal more on parenting issues, educational issues, children, training of children, and all that. But on Victor Adeshoko Leadership Initiative, we deal with purpose, we deal with vision, and we deal with self development. All right, thank you so much for staying tuned. Till I come your way again. Keep growing.